I welcome you all on behalf of the Uganda High Commissioner in Delhi. I am Honorary Consul of Uganda in Mumbai. I am appointed almost 3.5 years back. I welcome our High Commissioner in Delhi, Ms. Grace Akello. My colleague now and my Samdi Bhai, he is
Honorary Consul of Chennai.
Vinod Shiraugi in Chennai now. And Mr. Anuj?
Neeraj.
Yeah, Mr. Neeraj. I just got introduced with him.
Yeah.
He is from PhD Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So, a warm welcome to all of you. It's first of its kind Uganda Roadshow on business and investment opportunities. And now the floor is open for discussion. I would like our High Commissioner, Ms. Grace Akello, to declare this press meet open and speak few words.
Okay, thank you. Before I do so, I think I want the man on the spot to say one or two things. Yes.
Okay.
Good evening to all the press people. Uganda is a very prominent country on the east of Africa, a pearl of Africa we say. It is surrounded by the Central African countries like Tanzania, Congo, and it has a very good open business economy, open to the trade and business. Uganda is very fertile agricultural land, many opportunities for agriculture, many opportunities for investment in hospitality. The economy is open and there is free transfer of investment, profits can be repatriated between Uganda and India. The government for the last 34 years has been very stable, and there is a big Indian community of more than 60,000 families living in Uganda who are doing business for more than a century now. Agriculture and tourism. Tourism is a very important aspect of Uganda because it has many wildlife national parks. It has the best Lake Victoria, which is the biggest freshwater lake, many waterfalls. It is the origin of the river Nile, and for tourism it is a very attractive destination. Also for film shooting, Uganda offers a unique location, cost effective. The government of Uganda has made the investments into Uganda very open. You can have 100% profit repatriation after payment of the local taxes, and you have the 100% ownership of whatever business you do there. In terms of agriculture, it has very fertile land, abundant water. The fruits are plentiful grown there, and you know the land is only 1 or 2% converted to agriculture, so the opportunity for agriculture is big. In terms of fruits, it has a wide cultivation of bananas, all varieties. The mango fruits is grown in plenty. Pineapple, jackfruit. It has the highest growth of avocados and of course tea and coffee is very big from Uganda. Also the milk, the cattle and the milk, they have a large production of milk which is very surplus, and it requires to be packed, converted to milk powder. A lot of ghee and butter is possible to be exported out of Uganda. In terms of hospitality, the hotel chains, because there is so many tourist spots, there is a requirement of lot of hotel chains to be established there. In terms of medical, We have a huge scope for hospital chains to be established and medical facilities.
That's enough.
I think all this is giving a huge opportunity for India-Uganda bilateral trade, and Her Excellency from the embassy, Grace Akilo, has come here to promote Uganda and India business. Thank you.
Well, now let me do the next step. I'll stand, but when the interview goes, when you start asking your questions, which I hope you will, I will sit down again. So my name is Grace Akelo. I am High Commissioner of Uganda in India now in New Delhi now for the last almost 4 years. I've come to Chennai. Now this is my 4th visit as well, I think, because I came to the road show. No, I came to the exhibitions. Not only Uganda, which has road shows. The government of India has got very good road shows, except you don't call them road shows. I came to the Air Expo, which you had 2 years back, somewhere near the coast. I came then again, and I came again. But if I were to say, how many of you have seen an African person and interacted with them face to face like this? How many of you press people here? I dare to say that I would find maybe 2% maybe. So for me, my idea was, let us go east, because this is where the economy of India is growing very, very fast, very, very fast. It's one of the areas where it's growing very fast. Of course, Mumbai is the headquarters, the financial capital of India. Kolkata is very important, having been an old capital and also the commercial center. Now, Chennai is like which one of America, where they manufacture vehicles? What's the name of that state? I've forgotten, the press will know it. It's like that. So we are very interested in this state, and I'm getting ahead of myself with the story, so let me restart where I should have started. On my right is our distinguished honorary consul for Mumbai, Mr. Agrawal, who has already introduced himself. I have an honorary consul designate, which is why I tell him we have to keep a little bit of a low profile for him, because the government of Uganda said, okay, government of India is also going to say, okay, we hope. This is our man in Chennai, this gentleman here. Then this gentleman to my extreme left is Mr. Niraj, and he and us, as you can see there, we are doing a joint show. You know, one of the ideas of this bilateral relationship between Uganda and India is that you should work with the local opportunities, the local establishments, the local agencies which are there to promote the economy, to promote the political relationship, to promote the social cultural relationship. So this is why we have the PhD Chamber as our partner in this event. A gentleman just sauntered in to the room when we had sat here, and he happens to be the deputy head of mission. We decided to come. Usually we don't do this. Usually when the head of mission is somewhere, the deputy head of mission is elsewhere. But for us, this show is very, very important. So we said, let us all go to Chennai. So I have the deputy head of mission. If you would stand for recognition, please, sir. That's our deputy head of mission, if the press would like to see him. Then I have at the back the lady who has been working together with Mr. Niraj, Madam Sophie Birunji. She's the Secretary for Commercial Diplomacy. Then the lady who is seated here, the reason she's seated here is because she's the one responsible for public relations. She's the consular secretary in the mission in New Delhi. We want to link up with Tamil Nadu because we believe that this relationship would be mutually beneficial to Uganda and to the state of Tamil Nadu. We know that Tamil Nadu and the people of this area are the brains, the intellectuals, the thinking part, the heart of India, the ones who have taken India to the moon, the ones who have sent 100 satellites to space in one day. We know, you have. So We know that you are very good farmers and you are self-dependent in food. Your food security is unquestioned. We know that your technological development is very, very high. You know that you have people here who are very innovative. We know that you have training programs here with the e-programs, which have gone not only in learning into your e-government, you have e-health, you have e-medicine, you have e-everything. We know the potential that there is here. And we are saying that Uganda, as it is aspiring to transform from an economy which is like perhaps what India was 50 years ago, to what India is today, a middle-income country, we have a lot to learn from you. But apart from learning, we are saying, no, learning is not enough. There is a way we can stimulate each other's economic growth. When you go and people, okay, by you I mean even you, the press, yes, of course, because you can link up with your fellow press people in Uganda also, and there can be quite a relationship to be established, which would also be mutually beneficial. But we say that when you go, we are looking, in this particular show, we want to promote investment, trade, and tourism, investment opportunities in all these areas. There are so many investment opportunities, as the Honorary Consul Designate had started to name, and as the Honorary Consul had named. We have a vision, 2040, and that is the vision which we are pursuing in transforming Uganda from a peasant economy to a middle-income economy. In this, we see, like the way India has seen, industrialization is the way to transformation. You cannot run an economy on peasant agriculture. And you have struggled here. We have seen how you struggled with that. You had an agricultural revolution, which made sure that India is now self-sufficient in food. Not only that, India now feeds the world with the exports. It's rice. I think it's the second largest rice exporter to the world, India is. We have seen that industrialization is what breeds the young brains and makes them innovative. India, 20 years ago, nobody would think that India would go to the moon. India has gone to the moon. India has gone to Mars. India explodes satellites every day. And the hub is here. These are all things that we want to learn. Investment, when you take your investment to Uganda, we want to tell the business community here that when you go to Uganda, you'll find an environment which the whole ecosystem is put together in order to realize the highest benefit to both the people of Uganda and to the investor in the area of his investment, whether he invests in industrialization, whether he goes into oil and gas, whether he goes into investment opportunities in tourism, wherever he or she decides to invest. The benefit is mutual. Uganda gets the money, gets the economy going. India gets the profits. This is the sort of, the warm, friendly relationship that we want to have. Mutually prosperous nations, which are political friends, which are international friends, which see each other at the level of state-to-state equality, but with Uganda looking at India and saying, you are the bigger sister, come on. Okay, because I'm a woman, I'm saying you are the bigger sister, come on, help us. But you could say, you are the bigger brother, come on now. Please, how did you do it here? Can we do it also like this? Why don't you come and do it together? This is the relationship. So that's why we are here. And, he organized this press conference. He's here. Madam Among is here. We are ready to answer your questions. I hope we have stimulated your interest in my country. And we rely on you to help us to promote this. Thank you very much.
Now you can have the question answer.
There are no questions. You only want to take pictures.
One thing you can definitely mention is about the gorillas. Uganda and Rwanda put together has got world's 90% gorilla population. If you come tomorrow for the inaugural program, till then I have made a beautiful sculpture of Uganda. I will show it to you tomorrow. And we would invite you to visit Uganda. Because of COVID, the flights are right now suspended. But as the situation is normal, there will be a soon Mumbai and Delhi to Uganda. Entebbe is the airport where we will have soon the flights, direct flights. Right now, Either we can go via Kenyan Airways or Ethiopian Airlines or Emirates via Dubai.
Qatar.
And Qatar now. Qatar has also started. So very nice location. I can tell you my experience. For last 30 years, my company Ajanta Pharma is doing business there. We feel at home there because the people are so friendly and the opportunities are immense. Opportunities are abundant, and we all Indians, we believe in working honestly. So for all the people who wish to grow, Uganda is the land of opportunities. I met the Honorable President when I was there last with the big businessman delegation from Mumbai. We had 35 business delegates and we signed investment agreements worth $1 billion. We got setback just because of this COVID. Otherwise, many industries would have started by now. Biggest partner for Uganda is and friendly relation is with India. I have great pleasure to inform all of you that Honorable Prime Minister of India visited Uganda in July 18. And that time you can see the photograph here. That was when Prime Minister Narendra Modi has visited Uganda. That was July 18. And Government of India considers Uganda, India relationship is on the top actually. In entire Africa, Uganda-India relationship is given a lot of importance. Mahatma Gandhi ji, before coming to India for the freedom struggle, he stopped there. Near the Nile, there is a statue put up there. And there he has wished that when I die, my ashes should be immersed here. Because Nile river is the longest river. It flows 600 kilometers, 6,000 kilometers.
Miles.
Nile.
Miles. 6,000 miles.
6,000 miles, not kilometers.
I think.
From there to Egypt.
Yes.
Right? And was longest river. So as per his wish, the ashes were immersed there. And now Government of India is putting up a big monument there.
Yes.
Right? So I have come specially from Mumbai to let you all know, and tomorrow I am going to address the businessmen also and many ministers from India, because many ministers from Uganda will also address all of us. They couldn't travel because of the COVID restrictions, but this is the time, this is the first step. As now you have got where he is going to open the consulate here. Honorary Consul will be there giving a lot of time, and we will meet very oftenly to promote Uganda-India relationship. Thank you.
Gentlemen, also Uganda is a very popular film shooting destination.
Yeah.
Because of the natural beauty of Uganda, the waterfalls, the rivers, the wildlife, the animals, many film shootings are taking place in Uganda, and we have invited the producers from South India Film Chamber to take part in the program and understand the different locations for film shooting. And it's a very friendly country, absolutely safe, and ladies and people travel without any hindrance. For last 34 years there has not been any unrest, very stable. So very good for doing business.
Prime Minister Modi, when he went there, when he went on his 2018 tour of Africa, he felt so at home in Uganda that he announced his whole Africa policy, India-Africa relationship, the 10 principles of India-Africa relationships. He announced this in the Parliament of Uganda, and we are very proud of the fact. So, sorry?
What is that you expect from that?
Investment in all sectors of Uganda's economy. We want your people, your businessmen, people who see far, people who say, okay, I have grown my company here, it has matured, it has made money, but I think that I want to externalize some of it. So Uganda is a business location for such a person. So that investment in our areas of agriculture, as he's saying, investment in our area of minerals, investment in our area of tourism itself,
Solar energy.
Investment in our areas of energy, investment in
Medical.
our area of
Medical.
Especially
Textile.
Textile. Cotton and textile industry, but in the medical field, not just to provide hospitals, ordinary hospitals, but specialist hospitals, because there is something in Uganda we say there is medical tourism. I don't know whether in Tamil Nadu you have heard of such a word, medical tourism, meaning like yesterday when we came, one of our top generals was just being flown specially from Uganda right up to here to Medanta Hospital in New Delhi with an air ambulance in order for him to have a liver transplant. We don't have such capacities. So investment in such areas, cooperation with agencies in Uganda which promote Uganda-India relations. How many Indian
companies?
Oh my goodness. Let me see. I can't give you a number, but I could name for you some. Okay. Like and when you say Indian, you be careful when you say Indian, because some of those Indians are our Ugandans.
But they are there for centuries.
Yeah.
More than a century now.
Because now we, for example, if we start with the Madhvani. Madhvani is a sugar giant, a big one. It's traded on the international market. You know, the family has been there. The Madhvani family has been there since 1917, I think. When Idi Amin wanted to chase away the Asian population, not the Indian but the Asian population, 1973, some of the Madhvani family people said, "We are not moving. This is our country." So they stayed there. Then we have Meta. Meta is another sugar giant, a big sugar giant. Then we have somebody called Mukwano. That one is an Then we have the younger generation, Sudhir, Ruparelia. We have those. Then we have people who are in Airtel. This Airtel, the same Airtel here is the Airtel that's operating in Uganda, and it's an Indian company. You have people who have gone in and gone into the cement production. We have a big cement factory now in eastern Uganda, recently established by an Indian fellow. We have a cassava factory in northern Uganda established. So if I said how many, and tomorrow maybe I can answer your question, I can ask Madam Among to quickly do a global search, on Google and so on, how many Indian companies there are in Uganda. But I can assure you, what can tell you how many there are in Uganda is this statistic. The Indian companies in Uganda are the highest taxpayers. Yeah. Government of Uganda gets over 70% of its taxes from the Indian companies.
Indian companies.
So that might be something that indicates.
They are controlling a lot of the business.
They control the economy. And a Tamil. Now, I would have to do that. I tell you what. Let me take some Tamils from this meet here and introduce them there, because I can't say that. No, my Professor Swaminathan was a Tamil. I think that Swaminathan is a Tamil name.
Yes.
He was in Makerere University. He was, But what I can tell you, how many Gujaratis there are, I can tell you that of the population that's in Uganda, I think 70% are Gujarati, 75% are Gujarati. Then we have some other mix there. But Tamils, from here on, today, tomorrow, welcome to Uganda. I want to take the first 5.
Excellency, with the permission, if I can.
One more important sector there in Uganda is Tamil Nadu is a hub. In Tirupur, you have got a lot of textile yarn makers. If you have the exports, if they have the exports to US or European countries, if they export from India, the importer in America will have to pay 20% duty. But if they export from Uganda to America, there is no duty. So 20% saving. So huge opportunity for the textile companies. 10 years back, maybe more than that, 15 years back, Uganda was producing lot of cotton, right? So it's opportunity. They give the land on lease with some sharing. There is a percentage of sharing of the production. So you go there, take a land on lease, grow and export from there.
Okay, let me explain how. Yeah. This is a very important point. Yeah. The thing about Uganda and its markets, this is the point that Honorable Agrawal is making. Uganda and its external markets. When you go, when I am very hesitant when I talk about big markets for an investment. If a Tamil person took his money or her money and invested in a certain industry, let's say he invested in textiles, the cotton and textile apparel industry. Now, she has the American market, which he has talked about, And this American market is through something called the African Growth Opportunity Act, which was passed by the Senate and the parliaments of the United States of America, which allows Uganda, among other African countries, to export anything they produce in the line of textiles, anything free of charge. They will not charge you anything. So therefore, if an Indian farm or if a Tamil farm went and established its business in the cotton and textile industry, you could produce for Uganda market, you could produce for East African Community market, which is about 180 million people. You could produce for COMESA, which is about 200 million people, common market for East and Central Africa, that's called COMESA. You can produce for, yeah, those are the big ones. Then you can produce for America, anything in the textile line, anything, free. When you go, they will not come and examine who, was it a Tamil who produced it, or was it a Gujarati, or so long as it says made in Uganda. The same applies to the European market. We have something called enhanced partnership agreements. If you go and invest there and you produce straight for the European market. No taxes, no nothing. The same. So we also have some such lines with the other friendly countries. Then, yeah, maybe I'm talking too much.
Thank you, Excellency. As I have been introduced, my name is Neeraj and I represent PSD Chamber of Commerce and Industry. It is India's oldest Chamber of Commerce, National Chamber of Commerce, established way back in 1905. We are based in New Delhi and we have offices in different parts of India. And we work very closely with the various missions, especially the Uganda High Commission. And our responsibility is to promote the Indian industry outside the boundary of India. So, as Honorable Agarwal ji and Madam said that, the Prime Minister Modi's first visit to African nation was Rwanda and Uganda way back in 2018. And PSD Chamber of Commerce was a part of that delegation. So we mounted around 25 Indian industries with our business delegation that coincided with the visit of the Honorable Prime Minister to Rwanda and Uganda. And let me tell you, that was a 4-day delegation and there was a lot of interest which was generated among all these business people. Like what Mr. Agarwal said, that for Mumbai alone, $1 billion of business was done. And we need to understand how, until unless the government of India does not support the industry, we cannot export those markets. Now we have to understand how Indian government takes the African continent as a market, as a brother. Until 4 or 5 years back, we had around 27 Indian missions who were established in the African continent. We're talking about Sub-Sahara Africa, which has around 49 countries. So we had Indian missions established only in 26-27. Then during the visit of the Prime Minister Modi, he said that we should have our Indian missions in almost 46 countries in the next 5 years. So during that visit to Uganda and Rwanda, the Indian government had opened its office, its mission in Rwanda, and today I think more than 36 countries have been where our Indian missions have already been established. So this shows how serious India is in terms of strengthening its ties with Africa, and Uganda is one of them, because Uganda, I think Uganda was one of the countries where we had established our missions way back, I think, long time back.
1965. Indians are the ones who built Uganda Railway. So Indians are the ones who built Uganda Railway in 1902.
Yes. So we have partnered, and the reason we are here is that the next 3 days we'll be talking on various opportunities which the government of Uganda has on offer for the Indian investors, Indian companies. It's not about only investing in terms of money. It's about partnership. It's about technology transfer. And like Madam said, that there are various avenues where the Indian companies can think of collaborating. And especially this part of India, Tamil Nadu offers the best of the scientific solutions, technologies. So I think through press, media houses, I think you are the ones who are going to reach out to those industries and let them know that such and such roadshows are happening, and they don't have to spend the whole time. They can come for an hour or half an hour if they are physically present. If they want to join us virtually, that is also an option, because the next 3 days of conference will be even held virtually. If someone is not able to come physically, they can join us through the platform which we will be coming up tomorrow morning. So that is the other option. Important is that the complete mission is here. So I think through you people, let us reach out to the industry and let them know that some serious market opportunities are there and the people are here in Chennai. So let us invite as many people, as many of this, and we have sufficient time, we have sufficient strength in terms of people who are here from the Uganda High Commission. And I think let's work together and reach out as far as possible so that we can further strengthen this Indian-Uganda trade relation.
One more information, sir. The natural resources are all untapped. You have so many minerals, so much of agriculture, which are all untapped. So the opportunity to develop, to tap those raw materials and convert it to productive exports is abundant. For example, milk. There is so much milk and the milk is going waste. If somebody goes there and converts it to milk powder and it can be exported, it can convert to ghee and butter, it can be exported. So much of fruits are there. You can convert to jams and squashes and whatever and export. So raw material is in plenty. It has to be tapped, converted, marketed.
The thing is, we understand that Tamil Nadu has to develop Tamil Nadu. That's the first priority for the money which is generated within your state. But we are saying that for those who want to externalize, to go out of India and reap profits, Uganda returns to your money are very, 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 very high. Very high. I wanted also to talk about the cultural element. I hope that on the last day, it's just this COVID, but otherwise we wanted to show you a little bit of Uganda culture. We've come here with some of our dancers. We want to show you some of our dances. I know India has a lot of dances, and India is big. But in my culture, we say, when a little child drums, the big man also gets up and dances. So when Uganda, we will come with our smaller dance group, but maybe India will dance a little bit. Tomorrow on Saturday, we want to show you our culture. I am going to cook Ugandan food, some, not all, but some. I'm going to cook some Ugandan food, and I hope some of you journalists will come and taste it also. We want to show you how we dress. We want to share with you our humor, what makes Ugandans laugh, and the only way to do that is to show you some of our humorists. We hope that you will enjoy that. And the last thing, 2 years ago, this man sponsored a group of Bollywood producers and film actors and TAFI, Federation of Indian Travelers Association. They went to Uganda, and the president, seeing how important this group was, there were 12 of them, he gave them his helicopter, his personal helicopter, and they toured all over Uganda. And they saw the potential that there is for film and cultural activities in Uganda. So this is an aspect which we also want to share with you. Uganda listens to Bollywood films, to films made in India. We don't speak your language. We don't speak Hindi, we don't speak Telugu, we don't speak any of the languages. But what they do because people are so interested, what they do is they get the film in Gujarat, in Telugu, in Hindi, in whichever language it has been made in, and they dub it. So people are they're talking, then you are reading the dubbed, the things here, what the person is saying. And they are glued to their sets like this. So, in all the areas, in the areas to make money and to create wealth, we want you there. In the areas to develop technology and promote the capacity of Uganda also to run its industries, we want you there. In the area of collaboration in culture and so on, we want you there. So this is why we are here.
Now, how about the market of technology? Marketing, technology.
Yes.
Technology is just coming up.
Yeah.
Huge. Requirement of technology is huge in every area, whether healthcare, agriculture, industry, everywhere.
He says agriculture, and he's still the one talking, but let me interrupt. Agriculture, you know how they farm in Uganda? Do you know something called a hoe? You know something called a hoe? A stick like this, which you then put metal there. That's how they are still farming in Uganda. Yes. You don't have tractors, you don't have irrigation. Now in my area, all over the country actually, but in my area in particular, they say, oh my God, there is no food. There's no food. You say, why? Because the rain is late. Why? Because they are not irrigating. They don't know anything about irrigation. They don't know about turning, that you can tap solar energy and produce solar pumps and have irrigation all over the place. They don't know. They don't practice. So the technology is, in agriculture alone, you can't finish.
The population is educated. The youngsters, there are a lot of youngsters who are well educated and very easily employable. If anybody goes, there is no shortage of labor, abundant labor is available, and the return on investment is very high. So those who go and invest there, the returns are very high. So that's why the opportunity is big.
Everything that you can imagine of doing in India to improve the prosperity of the people, the welfare of the people, it has only just begun to be done in Uganda. So it's a very almost virgin plate from which we build, and we are inviting you to build along with us.
So you met Tamil Nadu CM regarding this also.
Yeah, we have a plan, but the Tamil Nadu budget session is going on, so we are not able to immediately get an appointment with him because they are busy with the budget.
But we are legal. We have been cleared by MEA to be here. We have also, your government here has also said, which minister do you want to meet? So we are okay here. This is a legal assembly.
What about education?
What about what?
Yes, sir.
What about education?
Education,
What is
what is the
What do you want?
education level?
We have universal primary education. So the first 7 years of education are free. Government pays for that. The first 7 years of education are free. The next 4 years of education are free. The next 2 years of education are free. Now, when you reach university level, then you have to pay something, a contribution to it. But otherwise, from the time a child is 7 years to the time a child is nearly 18 years entering university, is free universal education. But there are also schools provided by the churches, private schools. So the Catholics, there are Catholic schools, there are Protestant schools, there are Muslim schools, and these tend to be more expensive. And the children have to pay for this. Okay, we have when you come to technical education, I think when you people from Tamil Nadu with your knowledge of technology go there and you see what we call our technical schools in Uganda, you will just say, you will either laugh at us or you will say, oh, we are very sorry, because they are so basic. We have technical schools. After the first 7 years of education, we have technical schools. After the next 4 years of education, we have technical schools. Then after the next 2 years of education, we have what we used to call polytechnics, which now the government of Uganda has said, no, let's not call them polytechnics. Let's now start universities of technology. When you go to our universities of technology, there are 5 or 6 recently formed. There are no university lecturers. There are no technical assistants. There are no engineers who will help the students. There are hardly any books to teach the students. There are hardly any, the laboratories are there, but what you need in those laboratories to explain, to do experiments and so on, they are not there. So this is a huge area. Education, technical education is a huge area for which Uganda is looking for collaboration now. This will no longer be for the small businessman, even though he's very rich. Like, for example, we hope to interest Apollo, this Apollo hospital. They are the place where most Ugandans come to when they are sick. They are referred to, they go, Apollo, Apollo, Apollo. So now we have even entered into an agreement with Apollo Hospital so that they said, oh, we have so many people from Uganda. So now we cut those people from Uganda. They will get a certain, as soon as you are a patient from Uganda, you go to the High Commission, we write, and Apollo gives you automatically reduction, 20% reduction in the bills. So this is a recognition of the fact that, so we are saying to Apollo Hospital, why don't you go and work with one of our universities and establish this vision, this, this technology, this commitment to specialized medicine also in Uganda. So as I said, every area you look at, it is an opportunity, it's a challenge, it's an investment. It's also an opportunity for government of Uganda, for government of India to collaborate with government of Uganda. And government of India does not necessarily mean just the center. There are people here in Tamil Nadu who might say, for us, we have, when you come with me, next time, you come with me, you come with Sariogi, you come with Agrawal, and you go and you visit Uganda. You might say, for us, we want to collaborate with that part of Uganda. And Tamil Nadu will go and collaborate with. We don't have states because it's a very small country. Uganda is the size of Rajasthan. You know the state of Rajasthan? I think Tamil Nadu is bigger than, geographically, Tamil Nadu is bigger than Uganda, geographical spread, okay? So we don't have states, but we have something called districts, our administrative units. So you might go there and say, I want to collaborate with that district in this area. Tamil Nadu might do that, and they will be very warmly welcome.
Sir, it is just opened. The opportunity is huge. Any area, whether education, whether it is medical, whether it is technology, all areas are open. And whatever we want to participate, it is welcome there.
Okay. So we want to thank you for your, was there another question? We want to thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
I'm going away without hearing a question from a woman. Is there no woman journalist here? No woman journalist?
There is no women journalist.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's part of my history. I'm a woman activist. But funny, I'm a woman activist, but all my children are men. Okay, so thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. இது யுகாண்டா இந்தியா பிஸ்னஸ் மீட். இது முதல் வாட்டி நம்ம சென்னையில் நடக்கிறது. நம்ம ஹர் எக்ஸலன்சி கிரேஸ் அகிலோ, ஷீ இஸ் தி அம்பாசிடர் ஆஃப் யுகாண்டா இன் டெல்லி, High Commissioner, and Mr. Madhusudan Agarwal, he is the Honorary Counsel in Mumbai from Uganda and also the Joint Managing Director of Ajanta Pharma. யுகாண்டா வந்து ஒரு ஈஸ்ட் ஆஃப்ரிக்காவில் ஒரு முக்கியமான நேஷன். அந்த நேஷன் இப்போ எல்லா பிஸ்னஸ்க்கு ரொம்ப ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிக்கு ஓப்பன் பண்ணியிருக்குது. அங்கே லேண்ட் வந்து ரொம்ப ஃபர்டைல் இருக்கு, மினரல் டெபாசிட்ஸ் நிறையவே இருக்கு, ஆயில் அண்ட் கேஸ் நிறைய இருக்கு, இண்டஸ்ட்ரிக்கு நிறைய ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி இருக்கு. நம்ம மெடிக்கல் டூரிசம், மெடிக்கல் ஹாஸ்பிட்டல் செயின் பண்ணுறதுக்கு, நம்ம ஹோட்டல் செயின் பண்ணுறதுக்கு, நம்ம அக்ரிகல்ச்சரல் டெவலப்மெண்ட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு, டெக்னாலஜி பண்ணுறதுக்கு, எல்லாத்துக்கும் யுகாண்டாவில் நிறையவே ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி இருக்கு. அண்ட் யுகாண்டா கவர்மெண்ட் வந்து 100% ஓனர்ஷிப் கொடுக்குறாங்க. நம்ம அந்த இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் பார்க்கில் ஓப்பன் பண்ணால் 10 வருஷக்கு டேக்ஸ் இல்லாமல் கொடுக்குறாங்க, நோ இன்கம் டேக்ஸ். ரெண்டாவது இன்னும் இன்சென்டிவ் இருக்கு, எல்லாம் நம்ம இந்தியன் பிஸ்னஸ்மேன்க்கு கொடுக்குறாங்க. இங்க அங்க பண்ற ப்ராஃபிட் நம்ம ஃபுல் இங்க ரிபாட்ரியேட் பண்ணலாம். அங்க பாப்புலேஷன் வந்து எஜுகேட்டட் யங் பாப்புலேஷன் இருக்கிறாங்க. எந்த இண்டஸ்ட்ரி அங்க போய் பண்றதுன்னா நம்ம நிறைய ப்ராஃபிட் மார்ஜின் இருக்கு. ரெண்டாவது ஆப்பிரிக்காலேருந்து எதுவுமே எக்ஸ்போர்ட் நம்ம அமெரிக்காக்கு யூரோப்க்கு பண்றோம்னா அதை டேக்ஸ் இல்லாம எக்ஸ்போர்ட் ஆகும். நம்ம டெக்ஸ்டைல் இண்டஸ்ட்ரி, நம்ம டூரிசம் இண்டஸ்ட்ரி, அந்த மாதிரி எதுவுமே டெவலப் பண்றதுக்கு நிறைய வசதி கொடுக்குறாங்க. ஆனரரி கவுன்சில் இங்க வந்திருக்கிறதுக்கு மெயின் முக்கியமான காரணம், தமிழ்நாடு வந்து டெக்னாலஜி ரொம்ப நல்ல பிரமாதமான இருக்கு, எஜுகேஷன் நல்லா இருக்கு, இங்க இண்டஸ்ட்ரி ரொம்ப பிரமாதமான இருக்கு, ஆட்டோ இண்டஸ்ட்ரி நல்லா டெவலப்ட் இருக்கு. இது எல்லாம் நம்ம இங்க இருக்கிற பிசினஸ்மேன் யுகாண்டாக்கு வந்து பிசினஸ் பண்ணா அவங்க ரெட் கார்பெட் வெல்கம் கொடுக்குறாங்க, சிங்கிள் விண்டோ கிளியரன்ஸ் கொடுக்குறாங்க. எந்த வசதி வேணுமோ எந்த சப்போர்ட் வேணுமோ எல்லாமே நம்ம இந்தியன் பிசினஸ்மேன்க்கு அங்க கிடைக்க போறது. அதனால் யுகாண்டால வந்து இங்க இந்தியன் பிசினஸ்மேன் தமிழ்நாடு பிசினஸ்மேன் அங்க போய் எதுவுமே பிசினஸ் பண்ணா அங்க ரொம்ப ப்ராஃபிட்டபிளா இருக்கும். அந்த மாதிரி சொல்றதுக்கு மேடம் இங்க வந்திருக்கிறாங்க. And we invite the businessmen of Tamil Nadu, the technical people from Tamil Nadu, the education from Tamil Nadu. அந்த மாதிரி இன்ன வசதி அங்க கொடுக்கறாங்க, அத பூராமே வசதி available இருக்கு. So that is the main reason for the road show. Thank you.